Welcome back, everyone, to the Buds Mafia YouTube channel. Today, we are doing the Central Division and continuing our Division question mark series. Last week was the Metropolitan Division, so go get checked out if you haven't already. Today will be the Central Division, probably the best division in hockey. It's that or Atlantic. I think the Atlantic has a bit more depth, but the Central, I think the top dogs are, a lot better than maybe the Atlantics and everything like that. But let's get into it. It's going to be 3 question marks per team, and we're going to start with the President's Trophy winners, the Colorado Avalanche. So let's get into the video, and please go comment, subscribe, check out my other few videos. Videos go out every Monday and Wednesday, and go check out my socials as well at Buds and Pucks. Let's get into the first team, like I said, the Colorado Avalanche.
Tavares coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! Morgan Riley! Mo Riley! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round!
Gonna run for it, he got it! And there he goes! Inside the 10, the 5! Oh, the play of the year in the NFL!
So, like I said, Colorado, I think this team is still a wagon. They're still going to be one of the best teams in hockey next year. Quite a bit of turnover in that depth, but I still think this team is very, very good. First question, again, this is like the last episode. The questions, this was going to be a popular question, but it is one of the biggest popular questions for most teams in the NHL. But who's your number one? You have 2 great goalies, Wedgewood and Blackwood. Did any of them really steal a game in the playoffs or needed to? Not really. I think when it came to the Vegas series, they got a little bit exposed, but still 2 very good goaltenders. Similar to some other teams on this list or this division. But who's your number one? I mean, it turned out to be Wedgewood near the end of the season after Blackwood kind of signed his big deal a year or 2 ago. Wedgewood, he had 2.02 GAA, a 921 save percentage last year. In the playoffs in 11 games, he had 904 save percentage at 2.47 GAA. He has 1 year left at 2.5, so a decision has to be made between Wedgewood or Blackwood. Because Blackwood, I mean, solid, 2.5, a 904, 2.82 and 890 save percentage in the playoffs. I think only in the 1 game he played, or maybe 2. I think it was when Wedgewood got pulled. But he has 4 more years left at 5.2. So a decent tag, but where the cap is going and where goalies get paid, I don't think it's that atrocious. It's similar to Minnesota when we get to them later on. Who's your number one? I think Wedgewood, he played a bit more games. I'll put all the stats here on the screen. He played a bit more games until the end of the last year, and he turned out to be the guy. And he was solid throughout the playoffs. He just kind of didn't really steal them that game. But also Colorado's couldn't fucking score as well. So who's your number one? And then depth. Your depth got a new turnover, for at least for the most part. You still have Nicolas Waugh. You still have Logan O'Connor, 2 guys. O'Connor's been for a long time. Nick Waugh came over from Toronto last year. I still think they're very solid depth pieces. But then you bring in Jaden Schwartz, who I think in the bottom 6 could still put up some points. I don't hate that move. Then you bring in a lot of guys from the Nashville trade. You still have Parker Kelly, like I said, but then you have Fedor Svechnikov, who was the first round by Nashville a few years ago. So can he play full time and maybe take that next step? You have Laura Haru, same thing. So bit new turnover on depth. You lose Juuse, can you lose some other guys? Is there depth going to make an impact on this team? Then finally, is Nelson still your number 2 center? He had a phenomenal year in the regular season, made the Olympic team, was kind of that shutdown centerman. The penalty kill was awesome. Had a hat trick in one of the games. He had 65 points in 81 games last year, but then in the playoffs, he completely, I'll put out all the stats, like I said, 3 points and just wasn't the guy. They needed him to be better. So it looks like Kadri will likely play on the wing, or maybe they just absolutely just stack the middle, or maybe do some other lineup changes. But Nelson, depending on his points, he's getting older, but he's still a lot of points last year. Can he be that number 2 center still? Next up is the Dallas Stars, and a lot of drama this offseason with the whole Jason Robertson saga. But I still think this is a very good team. They still set up very well going into next season. And number 1, D, who I'm still pretty high on, who kind of people have kind of forgotten about, but Thomas Harley. Well, he bounced back. He had 50 points and 16 goals 2 years ago. I think his year prior of that, he had 15 goals. So back-to-back 15 or 14-plus goal seasons. But last year, 36 points, 0 points in playoffs. Just a rough season for him overall. And Heiskanen was out for a lot of the year. He had to step up. He didn't really, he actually looked great in Olympics. I think he had 4 points in 6 playoff or Olympic games. But he needs to bounce back. His a $10 million deal kicks in next season, so he needs to bounce back. And then how will the Jason Robertson thing affect this room? He's a number 1 winger in this league, not the number winner, but if you're talking about a top winger in this league, he is a star winger in this league. You can debate it all you want. 40 goals, almost 100 points. He's got 100 points. And then there was reports that came out that maybe the team wasn't happy with how it happened, and if they knew they could get him at that $12 million number, maybe they didn't have to lose Maverick Bourque. So how's that going to bode well in the room? I mean, these are all professionals. They could probably move on and have great leadership in there, but we'll see. And also, do the veterans still have it? Jamie Benn, he has signed another 1-year deal. He was okay. I think he had like 36 points in like 60-something games. Seguin's injury prone, coming off a major injury. He had like 17 points in 20-something games. And Duchene still had a great year, almost point a game. But again, another year older with all these guys. And they're injury prone, all three of them. Maybe not Ben, but Duchene, Seguin mainly. So can those guys still perform maybe at a middle 6 to bottom 6 level, because their top 6 is still fairly solid with Hintz, Wyatt Johnson, Rantanen, and Robertson still have those pieces, but can their depth, after losing Maverick Bourque and some other players, can those veterans still perform at this high level? Next is Minnesota, and they have a lot. They have they're still in win now mode, and they still have their window is not necessarily closing. They still have some young pieces, but they got to make some moves. And number one, as we've been hearing this for a long time, is number one center. Can Yurov take that next step on daily? A lot of these lineups are due to Daily Faceoff. Thank you, Daily Faceoff. They have Yurov slotted number one. Like, can he take that next step? He's not like he's not necessarily a stud, but they have a lot of faith in him and think he can. I'm a big fan of Eriksson Ek and Hartman, but of those, they're not like number one centers. Not even close. Eriksson Ek's very good. He's an incredible defensive center. Actually was really good in playoffs, but he's not that number one guy. So can Yurov step up? Can they maybe do the old Seattle where they have 3 number 2 centers? Like, that could bode well. Do they get a Dylan Larkin? I don't know if they want to give up what Detroit's necessarily asking. So number one center is a big issue. How long Quinn Hughes is going to stay? This is kind of a boring one because I feel like it's going to be 3 years, even though Elliot Freeman also came out recently with the longer this waits and the more likely, like if it doesn't happen before season, he is going to start getting worried about the situation. But I feel like he will stay. I think he was pretty open about the honest and trust that maybe Bill Guerin put into him, setting a lot of assets towards Vancouver, so he wants to honor that. It's likely going to be 3 years to match with his brother in New Jersey, so how long is he going to stay, and what's that situation going to look like? And just like Colorado, who's your number one? There's Wallstead, Gustafsson. Pretty much exact same situation as Colorado. Gustafsson's been there longer. He has 5 years, actually 6.8, so a pretty decent tag, but again, not too unmanageable. He had 2.67 GAA and 904 save percentage, but didn't really play in playoffs. Like, Wallstead was the guy near the end of the season, and he has one more year, 2.2. Again, very similar to Colorado. He had 2.58 and 916 save percentage. He had ungodly numbers at one point in the season. He kind of slowed down, but still great, and was the guy in playoffs and was really good in the playoffs, especially in the Dallas series, the first round. But who's your number one guy? Do you use the other guy in an asset? I think you do. But yeah, a lot of question marks in Minnesota. Next up is Nashville. You have some more movements. You get, I'm blanking on his name, but the Colorado GM over to Nashville, and they basically acquire the whole Colorado's former bottom 6. But I still don't mind Nashville's direction. I think there's some young pieces, and that's the first question: is who and how many young guys will make this team? Matthew Wood, Joakim Kemmel, Brady Martin. Wood actually had a very solid rookie year with 17 goals and 30 points. He looked all right. Kemmel, 17th overall in 2022. He kind of digressed in the AHL last year after having a very solid rookie year in the AHL, but he also played 16 NHL games last year. And then Brady Martin, 5th overall pick back in 2025. Hasn't played much pro hockey yet besides 3 playoff games in the AHL last year. Again, kind of digressed in the OHL a bit. Looked great in the World Juniors in my opinion. But can he just make that straight jump to the NHL? I'm not sure if like a full year in the AHL do him good. And how much does Juuse have left? I mean, he had 55.68 games on -15. He's 2 years left at $9 million. They don't really have too many guys left on the back burner for him to kind of replace him. So how much does he have left? Can he still compete and help this team make a push for the playoffs? And then also Juuse Saros. I mean, as soon as they traded away Askarov and gave Saros a contract, he has not been the same. He's had back-to-back years of not good. The year prior, that was all right, but back-to-back years of just not good. Like this last year was terrible. 3.16 GAA and an 894 save percentage. That's not going to get it done after they traded away maybe a star rookie young goalie and they kept him. So some question marks headed to Nashville, but I do like their young pieces and still think they can make a push for playoffs. Next up is Utah Mammoth. They made the playoffs last year, and I don't think they're going away anytime soon. They have a great young core, some great contracts too. That helps a lot. And their owner and general manager, they're going to make some moves. They're not afraid to make some big splashes this season and the rest of this offseason. Number one, is their decor good enough to compete with the elite? Obviously you have Sergachev, Uyghur, Marino. You lost Dursey. I'm a big fan of Dursey. Can Simashev step up? So, a full offseason, a full season with Uyghur and doing good. He kind of trailed off after the trade, but it's a big trade, big family move, so I get that. So can their decor be good enough to compete in the Central and the rest around the league? Can Costa be a solid backup to Vejmelka? Vejmelka kind of tailed off at the end of the season. He played a lot of games, played 64 games. First full year in the NHL, most likely for Costa. Can he be a reliable backup and maybe take the load off Vejmelka? And then finally, will any of the young guys make this team? Desnoyers and Tija Ginla. I doubt it. I think their roster is pretty solid. I don't think it hurts to play these guys in the AHL, maybe come up before playoffs. I don't think it's a rush to get them in. Obviously, if they completely wow us and impress us at camp, I think we'll both see them in the AHL, as they both has had a full years in CHL. And Desnoyers just had a massive injury this summer showcase. We'll see about his health, but we'll see where those guys end up. Next up, the Chicago Blackhawks. The number one should be easy. Can their young stars stay healthy? Bedard really took a big step last year before getting hurt, and he's now hurt again. I don't think he's going to be out for too long to start the season. Nazar's showing some injury issues. Can they both stay healthy? And then will Levshunov take that next step? Obviously, there's a lot of criticism of taking him over Demidov. I still have faith in him, not faith that he'll be better than Demidov. I think that's a little bit far-fetched, but I still think he can be a really good defenseman. Again, you're taking a 6'2", over 200-pound right-handed shot defenseman. Those are hard to come by, but they have to continue to develop. He showed flashes last year. He's a great puck skater. He's physical. He shows confidence, but he had 24 points and was a -41. His defense was atrocious. So he needs to take a big step. And I think actually acquiring Byram can help him. Also could diminish him, but also I think it can help him. And that comes to the next question, the last one. Can Byram be a number one? You paid him like it. He's still a very good defenseman. He had over 44 points, but NHL Network came out with the top 20 defensemen, and he wasn't on it, rightfully so. And you paid him $12.5 million. So can he be number one? Can he log that 25 plus or 20, not 25, 22 plus minutes? Can he be that guy? And can maybe he take the pressure off Levshunov as well? And that's a very young decor. Byram coming with that confidence. I'm rooting for him to be, but can he be that number one? Next up is the St. Louis Blues. A team, again, a lot of turnover. Were very active during the draft with McTavish and some other move, getting rid of Kyrou. Number one, can Mailloux bounce back? That was a big trade, a part of the Bolduc trade, and he struggled last year mightily. Again, we'll put his numbers on the board or the screen here. 13 points, 67 games. His defense was atrocious. Can he bounce back and be that big piece of that trade? And that was a part of the Bolduc trade. And then what's the deal with Binnington? He was just absolutely horrendous last year. His numbers were atrocious. He was solid in Team Canada, but again, you're playing with one of the best defenseman core in the world in front of you, so it's not hard to have good numbers there. And is Hofer now the starter? He started to play more games. Is he number one? And is Binnington okay with being a backup, or is he likely going to be on the move? And finally, can McTavish bounce back? He got his fresh start. He's looking like a unit this offseason, but it's more his skating and his endurance. He had 44 points. He drafted third overall. I'm still very high on him. He's still super young. You got him on a decent deal if he kind of starts to turn it around. But yeah, can he bounce back and help this roster? Finally, now we got the Winnipeg Jets, a team that just, after an incredible year last year or 2 years ago, kind of fell off the face of the earth last year. Hellebuyck didn't have his best year, even though he was an absolute god in the Olympics. That's the number one question. What's the deal with Helly? Is he going to be there? Is he going to commit to this team? Can he bounce back from last year? Because last year's regular season wasn't great. So what's the deal with him? Are you going to get some major assets back from him if you do trade him? What's the deal? And now can Perfetti be that number two center? You pay him all right bridge deal with the cap going up. That's not too crazy of a deal. He had 32 points in 68 games with only 12 goals. You drafted him higher. He needs to get more goals than that. He needs to produce more than that. So can he be that number two center, or at least a top six player in this league? And then finally, like the other teams, is their depth good enough? I just don't know. Like Brad Lambert, Rosen, Barron, Koepke, Perfetti, Niederreiter, I follow Lau. Those are more guys than six, I know, but what's the balance going to be? Is that as good enough bottom six? I don't know. I like their top six with Kyle Connor, Scheifele, Velarde, and so on, but is that depth good enough? I'm just not sure. that's it. That's the video. I appreciate you guys watching. Please leave me a comment, like, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500, and of course after that 1,000. Let me know if any of these are your teams, if you agree with anything. Don't hesitate to comment. Let me know if I'm wrong, if any other things I should have gotten brought up. But yeah, go check out my socials at Buds and Pucks on X, TikTok, and Instagram. Podcast drops on Wednesdays on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube, and these videos come out on Monday. So comment, like, subscribe, and next week we got the Pacific Division. See you then.
Tavares coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! Morgan Riley! Mo Riley! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round!
Gonna run for it, he got it! And there he goes! Inside the 10, the 5! Oh, the play of the year in the NHL!